Welcome back to the live webinar. Today is the listing optimization series, right? And my name is Jun Liang, and I'll be here to share with you what are some of the tips and best practices that you can use it on your listing. Right, so moving on. Some important notice. All right, so for those of you who are new to the webinar, do know that we have an official YouTube playlist that you can subscribe to. We do have a Q&A section at the end, but that will be exclusively for all of you here, the live attendees, and then it will not be available in the recording for the Q&A segment. So only the content will be there. So if you miss any of the content, feel free to watch the past recording. Right, the second part, which is the questions that you have, you can put it into the question box, all right, or you can or for those of you who already share your question with me beforehand, I've put it into the end of the slides. Now again, similarly, you can ask any question at any point of the time using the question box. If not, at the end of the session, I will answer those questions that were shared during the registration form. Right, last but not least, do take note that the information I'm sharing today is updated as of today. Now, always refer back to the online resources in Seller University or the Seller Central Help for the latest information. Or just a short introduction of the team I'm in, the Seller Education team, whereby there is Seller University, the content that you can access from Seller Central as well as Seller University website, and also short videos. And then the other one is the one that you are attending right now, which is the Amazon Live webinar. Okay, this is what we're going to cover today. Right, the three main things: the listing completeness, the copy optimization, and what are the things that you can do to your images. Or very quickly, these are the 8 major components that we see will be helpful to determine whether your listing is complete or not. Right, the title, product image, bullet point, description, search term, A+ content, the browse node, and the brand names. Right, this is where you can find it. I'll briefly go through each of it. First of all is the title. All right, this is the thing that your customers will see when they search for your product. All right, and even at the result page, the product result, the search result page, this is something that they will see. So this is very important, right? That you have a very good, attractive, and relevant title. Right, I won't touch in too much on the requirements. Right, this one is something that you would have known already, most of you, I believe. Right, the next thing is the image, the quality of the image. To recap, the very first image has to be comes with a white background, where you can have up to a total of 9 images. All right, so there's one main image, and the rest of it, the 8 other alternate image, you can be more creative about it. All right, this is some of the requirement as well. I won't go through. You can actually search for all these requirements in Seller Central. Alternatively, you can also just upload it, right, and see what are the error message that you might get. Let's say if your image is not compliant. Right, bullet points. Right, this is very important. All right, typically we will suggest you to use about 4 to 5 bullet points to showcase your product unique selling point. Right, these are the requirements, or rather the bullet points requirements. Right, take note that you should not include any promotional details, right, such as the clearance sale or limited time offer. This kind of wording is not compliant. All right. Right, the other one is the brand. All right, if you have a brand, if you are a brand owner, you have registered your brand under Amazon Brand Registry, right, you will be able to use your brand name. All right, and it's always good to have a brand name. All right, so that it looks more reputable. You know, you give more confidence to your buyer, right? Rather than if you don't have a brand, all your listing will appear as generic. Right, the next one is the product description. Right, this is also the part that you can optimize further. Right, you should go into greater detail about your product. Right, it should supplement the bullet point, right? It's not just a replication of what your bullet points has already mentioned. So try to create what we call rich and engaging description. So try to write something that your seller, or rather your customers, will be able to vision, how it feels to be able to use your product, since they are not able to touch your products. Right, the other one, which is very important as well, if you are a brand owner, you should also leverage the A plus content, where you can see all these nice visual artwork that you can put into your listing will really make your product listing stand out among the rest, right? And then these are the additional images that you could also add on to further showcase your products, right? Things like putting it in a scenario that your product could likely be used can actually resonate well with your target audience. Right, some requirement and best practices as well. All right, try to avoid reusing the same image that you're already using it, right? Make some changes to it. Right, do not use low quality or blurry image, right? Because that might all the A plus content will need to go through an approval process as well, right? So having the right good quality image and then the right use of text is very important for it to be approved. Right, again, there will be a guide as well in Seller Central that you can reference just by searching on Seller Central. The other one is a search term. This is also something that you can improve on. Right, some ways you can do is you can either look at the product opportunity explorer. You can search for your competing or competitor product or product that's similar to yours and look at what kind of the search terms that is being shown. If you're running ads, you can also see what are the search terms as well in your ads report. All right, so you can also make use of off-Amazon resources like Google Trends or even searches online to find out what are the keywords that will help, or rather the search term that will help to increase the visibility of your products. Right, similarly, you should not use those statements like new or on sale now. This kind of search term, right, should not be appearing in your listings. All right. Well, the last one is actually the so-called the category nodes. All right, so we call it a browse node, but in summary, I would just say it's like the product category. All right, depending on the product category that your product is, there will be different kind of these filters that is appearing for your customer to narrow down or to search to filter it down. All right, so some of these fields could be optional fields in your listings. So try to fill up as much of the information as possible during your listing creation, right? Even though you can also edit it afterward as well, right? So it may show as optional in your listing, but if you put it in, then there will be available for any of the customer who potentially might be trying to filter down certain material or certain features that you actually have. Right. So if you realize that the product category is not what you think it is, you can just submit for a change. Just go to Seller Central, you search and you search for browse node change or something like that. And then the help bar will appear and then you will be able to put in the ASIN. All right, and then choose the product category that you think it is and then submit it through that feature. Right, so once it assesses that it's really a wrong classification, then your product category, the browser will be updated for your particular ASIN, which is your products. All right, so this is the what we call the completeness score of your listing. Where you can see these are all the attributes that I mentioned earlier. Right, the search terms, the browse node, product description, bullet points, etc. Right, if you have utilized the most, or rather, as much as possible of those elements, right, you can give your listing a scoring. So what do we see here is that listing with a completeness grade of A, are usually the best performing ones, right? Meaning that you have a score ranging from 8 to 100, right? Utilizing all the feature and as well as optimizing it. So not just by using it, you need to also make sure that you use it correctly. So our internal survey did shows that listing with a A grade, all right, does has a better order volume as comparison to listing from a B to E grade. All right, I'm going to move on to the next one regarding your listing copy optimization. So these are things you can enhance in your listing copy. So copy it just means the writing on your products. All right, so moving on, if you have any question, remember to use the question box and put it there, and then I can address it at the end of it. All right, so carefully refine your selling point. Right, these are the things you can take note of. Right, and also because you are selling to a different consumers audience. All right, you want to pay more attention to the cultural nuances if you know of, such as the four season, etc. Does it applies to the country that you're selling in? That could be something that you can put in your listings, right? And then try to use data to describe your product feature if you have it. All right. So use your A plus content as well, or choose the right templates that works best for what you want to showcase. We do have another session regarding how to use the A plus content. You could also watch the recording if you want to, right? So I want to show you something that maybe not all people realize that is something you can use. Right, so what you're going to do maybe after this session is, go to your Seller Central, look under Manage or Inventory. You can go to this option called Listing Quality Dashboard. Right, so clicking on it, it will show you all the listing that you have that could be further improved. Right, meaning that Amazon will detect the listing that they see, there could be missing attributes or there could be a recommendation that they see will help in terms of the visibility of your listings, right? You can click on it and then go through the recommendation and just put in the appropriate and accurate values. So this actually helps to identify and fix potential listing issues that you might have, right? Because all that will affect your discoverability, your listing discoverability, etc. Right? And then some information that was recommended, could potentially also help to reduce any customer returns, that kind of stuff. Right? So every week, do go into Seller Central and check at least once, because the system will do the check backend on a weekly or a daily basis. So it's best that you go in to check on a weekly basis if you can. All right, point two is what I earlier mentioned. Take note of the target countries or their culture and their mindset. Right, just to give you an example below in terms of selling this vacuum cleaner, right? How it is different that if you are going to sell into the North America compared to you are selling into, for example, like Japan. All right. So in short, um, the key point to cut across is you will need to do some form of research, all right, or you can do test and learn to find which are the keywords that resonate with your target audience, all right? This is something that usually people around like my region like Singapore, Southeast Asia may not necessarily be aware of because we do not have in terms of like seasonality, right? And then most of the time it may not be too different in terms of the culture around Southeast Asia, right? Compared to selling into a whole different country. All right. Third point is you can also try to, again, like make your product, help your customers to visualize the products, how it can be used. All right. So some examples here. that you can use. Right, key, in summary, just, keep your words simple and compact. Do not try to pile up too many keywords just to, game the system or what. Right, so now Gen AI is very common. Or I would say that for a start, you can even use those language AI to help you do the first draft. Even in the current Amazon listing, if you see there is a beta AI listing feature as well for you. If you try to create a new listing, you just need to put what are the product that you're trying to sell and what are the features, and then the Amazon AI in the listing will have to generate a list of the description for you, etc. And then you can start editing from that. Right. So I would say, you don't have to come up with this yourself. Try to make use of some of the tools available out there to help you quickly kickstart to optimize your listings copy. Yep. These are something I mentioned, search term, product description, image, keyword, and description. Well, these are the areas that you should try to put in those, I would say, words, right? That is will help to increase your visibility of your products. Again, this is a recap. Things like search term, product descriptions, etc. Right? Even image, keyword, and A plus content. Right? Yep. Again, this is the regarding the use of different words in terms of the seasons. All right. This may also help you for the customers who might be searching for particular seasons, like spring, Met, or whatnot. That will actually help your product to be more visible. Or I'll just run through some of it, but the idea is there that you can see regarding on how you can make use of your product bullet points, etc. All right, to embed those keywords. All right, the third one I want to share is the images. All right, this is very important as well. Right, and especially localized image styles. Right, I'm just going to share the typical US style that we see. Right, you can see in terms of selling soft line product line. Right, and then for the household product, the home related product, right, these are the kind of image that we see will work better in terms of the Western style home environment, like in the US. And this is for electronic, all right. So all this is the idea, that you can create those images in your product alternative image and also use it on your A plus content to differentiate your listings and to make it more attractive. Yeah. All right, these are some more example. Now just a recap. Well, you can't use this for your main image because your main image needs to be in a white background. Right, these are ideas for your alternative images and your A plus content. You can play with the color tones, the font, the seasons as well. Right, and then there are some other key seasons like the, I would say key festivals like the Halloween, Christmas, right, that you can utilize or rather capitalize during the period to get more interest in your products, right? And then for selling of the apparel clothings, right? Summer clothing, all right? Right, the difference regarding children undergarment is that it may not, it has to be photographed flat without the models. Some tip you can use if you are using A plus content, which I would strongly suggest all the brand owner to use A plus content, right? So some tiles you can use like the image header with text, right? This is how it's going to look like. And the other one, which is also very useful, is the standard comparison chart, right? You can use this chart to showcase your product differentiating factor or feature compared to the other products, right? You can compare not just to your product, you can compare to your competitor product as well. By using this tile, you just need to put in the ASIN of the products. All right, and then there's this tile you can use. In summary, you can use up to 5 tiles, if I remember correctly, out of the 16 A plus content tiles that you can use. You can choose up to 5 on each of the ASIN, and there is no coding involved. It's mostly drag and drop, or rather, it's all drag and drop. All right. But just to summarize whatever I share in these 4 points. Right, next I'm going to show you some Seller University resources that we have. All right, since most of you might be existing seller who or seller who are already selling, this might be interesting for you or useful for you, right, to consider what other logistic options that you can utilize, right? So we have recently launched the Amazon Warehousing and Distribution, AWD. Okay, you can read more here, or you can look at some of the AWD webinars that we have. And then if you're looking to launch new product, right, the guide on the right hand side will give you a good gauge of what are the products that requires approval before you can sell it on Amazon, right? So some product there might be restrictions on whether or not you need certain authority um, to be certified before you can sell it on Amazon, right? So if you're looking to launch new product, I think this is something that you can use to either refresh yourself or get an idea on what you want to sell for your next product launch. All right, so these are the upcoming webinars that I still have in August. Right, there are some. The next one will be regarding Amazon ads. All right, and then we also have some in-person event at the business show near towards the end of August as well. All right, so that's the end of the content I wanted to share. So I'm going to move on to the live Q&A part.